The book has done pretty well. We had 4 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, or as Trump would say, 4 years. Because with Trump, you always get the Trump bump. Like when I was playing with him, he would like introduce me as, hey, because if someone's a little bit famous, he wants to make them sound really famous, and then he gets some residual fame rub off it or something. And so he'd be like, this is Rick Reilly, managing editor of Sports Illustrated. Like, and then the next guy, this is Rick Reilly, publisher of Sports Illustrated. I'm like, no. And like, hey, Rick, meet Luigi. He was voted best hamburger chef in the world. And the guy's like, no. It's just funny how he does that. I saw Lee Trevino one day, great golfer. And I said, did you ever play with Trump? He goes, no. I played one of his courses. He played the Florida course. And I was showered, got dressed, and I was leaving. And he saw me. Lee Trevino, greatest golfer of all time. And Trevino's like, what'd you shoot out here, Lee? And Lee goes, I shot 73. Oh, let me introduce you around. So he's schlepping Trevino around. This is Lee Trevino, greatest golfer of all time. Just shot a 69. And Lee's like, what? And the next guy's like, Lee Trevino, winner of 14 majors. Just shot a 65. Like, what? And Trevino said, Rick, I had to leave there before I set the course record. Trump does it. Trump does the Trump bump with everything. Do you realize that Trump Tower is known as a 58-story building, but it's really only 48 stories? He skipped the 20s because he wanted his building to be taller than the GE building down the street, which is 54 actual stories. But so he just skipped, and now the 58th floor is the top floor, and you're like, that's crazy, but what's the harm? And at that time, he wasn't running the world, so it was like everything with him. He's like, you're crazy, let's write it down. But it wasn't funny when there was a fire 2 years ago there, and the fire department came, and they said, where's the floor? It's on the fire, 44th floor. No, we see one on the 34th floor. And because of the tent, they couldn't find the fire. And so, like, what are you doing? Everything gets exaggerated, but kind of in a weird way. I remember being in his Trump Tower apartment. It's just like coated with gold toilets and gold everything, right? And in the corner, I mean, it's an incredible apartment, 270-degree views. And in the corner is a telescope. And it's gold. And so I said, can I look through it? And he said, go ahead. So I started looking through it, and he said, you know, I saw the World Trade Center towers fall down through that telescope. And I go, oh my God, you know, that's horrible. And he goes, yeah, that's pure gold. Really? That's your takeaway from seeing all that? I mean, it's just kind of how he is. It's him or not. I remember once going to his office, Reilly, sit down, I got something to show you. And he slaps down a yellow laminated card. And it says, bearer eats free at any McDonald's in the world. And he goes, only me, Michael Jordan, and Mother Teresa has that card. I'm like, really? Really, Donald? So I'm supposed to believe right now at the Calcutta McDonald's, Mother Teresa's wheeling her little station wagon through there, rolling. I will have 10,000 chicken sandwiches. I mean, give me a break, Donald. I would always say that. Give me a break. He was like, he would, but then it didn't really matter. Like you can look up right now and see his handicap is a 2.8. Now, you can also look up and see that Jack Nicklaus's handicap is 3.6. Now, if you had to sweep the streets of Moscow the rest of your life, who would you bet on? Trump at 2. If he's at 2.8, Queen Elizabeth is a pole vaulter. I mean, it's just unbelievable the lies he tells. And he somehow gets away with them. I didn't even want to write this book. That's the weird thing about this. I was retired. I was living half the year in Italy. I was setting the world pasta record or whatever I was doing over there, doing nothing. It was 2016, and I kept seeing tweets from Trump and speeches from Trump and video from Trump on campaign going, the reason I'm a winner. The reason you should vote for me is I'm a winner. I've won 18 club championships, and that's against the best players in all the clubs. That's against the young guys. That's with no strokes. And I'm like, you liar. You told me how you did it once. And he forgets that he accidentally tells the truth, and then he goes with the lie. Like right now, he keeps telling people his dad was born in Germany. I have no idea why. His dad was born in Queens. But anyway, so he's like, I'm like, you liar, you told me how you do it. He said, whenever I open a new club, like buy a new club, I play the first round with me and Melania, and she's not gonna beat me, so I'm the club champ. And that's how he won 12 of those 18 club championships. I'm like, that's so diabolically clever, you know? It's really smart, but it's also kind of wrong. So I started looking into this like, well, maybe this is an article for SI or something. So I started checking into the others that he'd won. And I found out he won the Bedminster club championship once when he was in Philadelphia. He played Trump Philadelphia, and then at the end of the day called them and said, hey, what won the club championship today? And they said, Morty Schwartz shot a 75. And he's like, I shot 73 up here, make me the club champ. And the guy's like, it's a pretty good one, Mr. Donald. And he's like, no, make me the club champ. And so poor Morty Schwartz got yanked off, and Trump goes up. He's been doing it even as president. He's now up to 20. He won the Trump Mar-a-Lago golf course club championship when he was in Singapore with Kim Jong-un. How do you pull that off? And here's what he did. They played it in Florida. He couldn't be there. He was in Singapore. He got back. A month later, he sees the guy that won, a guy named Ted Virtue. He was the money guy behind Green Book. And he's a nice guy, and he's playing with his son. And here comes Trump. Now, when you play with the president, there's about 30 golf carts, as we all know, since we've all had to pay for them. And Trump has this super fast golf cart at every course he goes, which is one reason why the Secret Service has to pay so much for golf carts, because they have to get really fast ones to keep up. That's what part of the expense is. So and so you got the nuclear football, you got the Trump dump thing, which is, it looks like a portalet, and then they could shove him in there if there's a bomb, and there's the guy that's got the vials of blood, and the red phone, and the chief of protocol, and this and that. So it's like 40 golf carts. And here's this guy who'd won the club championship, playing with his son, and here comes this armada of golf carts. And here comes, well, Ted, good job winning the club championship. And Ted goes, well, thank you, Mr. President. But you didn't win it because you didn't play me. And Ted's like, that's a good one. No, you didn't play me. We're going to play right now. Like, what? No, we're going to play these last 6 holes. Whoever wins is the real club champion. This is the President of the United States saying this. And Ted goes, well, thanks anyway, but I'm playing with my son. He can play. So they played a 6-hole tournament. They get to the 15th hole, par 3. Kid hits it on. Ted hits it on. Trump hits it in the water. They see the ripples. Middle of the pond, see the ripples. Trump always hits first, jumps in his super turbo Mario Kart, zips ahead, and you're always, like when I play with him, you hit, and if you're the last guy, you got to catch up because he's 200 yards up there. He's kicking it. He kicks the ball so much they call him Pele. The caddies call him Pele. So by the time they get there, Trump is lining up the kid's putt. And the kid's like, hey, Mr. President, that's my ball. And Trump's caddy, of course, because he tips well, goes, no, that's the president's ball. Yours went in the water. And they're like, what? And yep, this is the president's ball. And Trump's already hit the putt. And the kid goes, Dad, that was a brand new ball. I guess we'll buy you a new ball. And so Trump wins, and that's how he won his 20th club championship. So how crazy is this? So that's what got me writing the book. And so then people just started telling me these stories. For instance, he doesn't just make his score better, he makes yours worse. I think one of Dante's circles of hell is for that. Because, for instance, at Trump Philly, Mike Tirico, the NBC announcer, is playing with John Gruden and Sean McDonough. And it's Gruden and Trump against McDonough and Tirico. And Tirico's about a 13 handicap, and he hits this great 3-wood above a hill to a blind par 5, and it's the shot of his life. And the caddy's whooping, and Tirico's whooping, and he's all excited. And when they get there, ball's nowhere to be found. So Tirico checks the hole. That's how good the shot is. Not in the hole. They're looking all over, find it in the bunker, 55 feet left of where the line was. And like, what? And they check, and it's his, and he leaves it in the bunker, hits another crappy one, makes a double when he was probably going to make birdie. And so he paid Trump his $25 because Trump always wins. There's no beating the guy. And then they're in the parking lot. The caddy came up and said, "Oh, hey, on that shot, Trump kicked it in the bunker." President of the United States. And so one time he hit it in the pond in LA at a country club. Friends of mine were playing with him. And of course, Mario Kart, he's out there 200 yards ahead. And they saw the ball go in the pond, but by the time they get there, it's in the middle of the fairway. They're like, "Donald, what are we doing? This is a $50 bet." And Donald goes, "Must have been the tide." I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And now he's the most powerful man in the world. People always ask me, "Yeah, but Clinton cheated." Well, yeah, I played with Clinton during his presidency, and yeah, he cheated. He cheated a lot. But it's like the difference, if you go into a bank and steal the pen versus going in and stealing the vault. Because, first of all, Clinton doesn't bet, or at least he didn't bet that day, and he just wants to play and never gets to play. So, for instance, he has 24 clubs in his bag, which is 10 over the limit. That's a lot. And then Clinton always plays his first shot, so he never takes any mulligans, but he takes billigans. We called them billigans because he would hit the first shot and then second, third, fourth, just for practice. 5, 6 shots sometimes. And then he'd always play the first one, but then I noticed he could never quite remember where his first one was. And then every Secret Service guy wants to be ambassador to Sweden someday, so he'll be like, "I'm pretty sure it's next to the pin, Mr. President." Like, "Wow, fantastic!" So we got the Secret Service, we got SWAT team guys on a golf course. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to wrestle down a squirrel or something. I don't know what they're going to do. And so he kept hitting these billigans. I'm just showing, he was such a nice guy about it. But he kept hitting it way right because he kind of gets on his toes and he hits kind of a sweepy thing right. And finally, this poor caddy is having to get all these balls. He's 75 years old. And no one's helping him, not the Secret Service, nobody. And he's finally had it. He doesn't care who he's with. And on the 8th hole, he finally turns to him and says, "Get off your toes, you ain't no damn ballerina." And like, oh crap, and the Secret Service guys and the SWAT guys, I mean, even the squirrel is like, and I'm like, what is going to happen? Because I was thinking, I just had the quick thought, if we were in Iran, this guy's tongue would be cut out. And then they'd go find his kids. And then every child they would have their tongues cut out, right? But in the coolest country in the world, Clinton goes, "My bad." So yeah, he cheats. But this guy cheats on a level like I've never seen. And I've been playing for 50 years. In fact, so many people, after the book came out, which was in April, gave me stories that I had to add an extra chapter to the paperback, which comes out in April. I mean, I had to roll up my car windows. They were coming over the transom, just so many stories. And for instance, the guy who ran the caddy shack at Bedminster for 10 years calls me up and goes, "Oh, you don't know the half of it." I'm like, "I'd like to. Let me know." And he goes, "Oh, we had to buy 4-inch green tees, buy a 500 in a bag, and every caddy who took went with Trump had to have both pockets full of 4-inch green teas. And I'm like, so what? I mean, that's not illegal, green tea, whatever. He goes, no, they would run ahead and tee it up in the rough. And he's like, people would always come in and go, God, Trump's really good out of the rough. Yeah, I wonder how. Do you remember Joe Torre had a charity tournament? Maybe it's still there. Trump Westchester. So this guy calls me who runs the Joe Torre celebrity, or did the celebrity championship. And he says, have I got a story for you? I'm like, tell it. He says, Trump is playing with Bloomberg, Clinton, and Giuliani in the scramble, right? Oh, and Torre's the celebrity. So 4 guys plus Torre. And they did terrible. You know, scrambles, everybody hits, we go to that ball, the best ball, everybody hits that, it's a team thing. They come in, they're finishing, you know, deep, way back in the pack. And Trump is mad, and he finds this guy who's running the tournament, and he says, hey, I won low individual net today, so give me a trophy. And the guy's like, oh, it's a team thing. There's no low individual net. Trump goes, I won low individual net, and you got to give me a trophy, and I'm going to get up there and accept it. And he's like, and you know, it's his course. And he's like, okay. So he only has a staff of 1, this woman, and she goes, I got an idea. She goes in the women's restroom, she finds a vase with flowers in it, yanks the flowers out, pours the water out, brings the vase back out, hands it to my guy. He gets up to the podium, and he goes, today, the winner of the low individual net. And Bloomberg's looking at him, and Clinton's like, what? Donald Trump. And Trump got up and gave a 22-minute speech about it. I mean, and everybody had a story. Everybody had a story. And I always would ask them, well, did you call him on it? Did you say, that's not fair? That's illegal? That's cheating? And a lot of people had the guts to say, Donald, stop it. That's cheating. And Trump would always have the same answer. And I heard this 4 different times in the exact same order. He would turn and go, hey, I cheated my wives, I cheated my taxes. You don't think I'm going to cheat in golf at my own course? And, right? I mean, he cheated Tiger Woods. And they arguably the greatest player of all time. It's Tiger and Dustin Johnson against Brad Faxon and Trump. Now, Tiger and DJ are back at the back tees, the Tiger tees, and Trump and Faxon get to play the white tees to make up for how much better the other 2 guys are. So, Trump and Faxon both hit it right on this one hole. The 2 big hitters are both way left. Mario Kart, zip, zip, zip. We're up there. Trump's about to hit his second shot. He's got to hit it over a lake. Chunk, right in the lake. And Trump turns to Faxon and says, throw me another one they didn't see. And Brad Faxon, a professional, is like, what? He's like, throw me another they didn't see. He's like, okay. But he said, I want to say, you know, that's Tiger Woods. He might know if you're cheating. Takes that one, chunks that in the water. By now, here comes Tiger and Dustin Johnson. They get zip, 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 hurry up to the green. Trump's first to putt. Tiger's hit it like this for birdie. He says, Mr. President, what are you putting for? Because, you know, it's a match play bet. And Trump goes, 4 for a 3. He's actually putting 7 for a 6. But, you know. And I said, Fax, why didn't you call him on it? Why didn't you say that's cheating? And he said, because everybody we know has a great Trump cheating story. We didn't have one. We wanted our own story. I'm like, all right.